Read the passage and answer the questions that follow. Excerpt from Warm River by Skeen Caldwell. The driver stopped at the suspended footbridge and pointed out to me the house across the river. I paid him the quarter fare for the ride from the station 2 miles away and stepped from the car. After he had gone, I was alone with the chill night and the star-pointed lights twinkling in the valley and the broad green river flowing warm below me. All around me the mountains rose like black clouds in the night, and only by looking straight heavenward could I see anything of the dim afterglow of sunset. The creaking footbridge swayed with the rhythm of my stride, and the momentum of its swing soon overcame my pace. Only by walking faster and faster could I cling to the pendulum as it swung its wide arc over the river. When at last I could see the other side, where the mountain came down abruptly and slid under the warm water, I gripped my handbag tighter and ran with all my might. Even then, even after my feet had crunched upon the gravel path, I was afraid. I knew that by day I might walk the bridge without fear, but at night, in a strange country, with dark mountains towering all around me and a broad green river flowing beneath me, I could not keep my hands from trembling and my heart from pounding against my chest. I found the house easily and laughed at myself for having run from the river. The house was the first one to come upon after leaving the footbridge, and even if I should have missed it, Gretchen would have called me. She was there on the steps of the porch waiting for me. When I heard her familiar voice calling my name, I was ashamed of myself for having been frightened by the mountains and the broad river flowing below. She ran down the gravel path to meet me. "Did the footbridge frighten you, Richard?" she asked excitedly, holding my arm with both her hands and guiding me up the path to the house. "I think it did, Gretchen," I said, "but I hope I outran it." Everyone tries to do that at first, but after going over it once, it's like you're walking a tightrope. I used to walk tightropes when I was small. Didn't you do that too, Richard? We had a rope stretched across the floor of our barn to practice on. I did too, but it's been so long I've forgotten how to do it. We reached the steps and went up to the porch. Gretchen took me to the door. Someone inside the house was bringing the lamp into the hall, and with the coming of the light, I saw Gretchen's 2 sisters standing just inside the open door. "This is my little sister Anna," Gretchen said, "and this is Mary." I spoke to them in the semi-darkness, and we went into the hall. Gretchen's father was standing beside a table, holding the lamp a little to one side so that he could see my face. I had not met him before. "This is my father," Gretchen said. "He was afraid you wouldn't be able to find our house in the dark. I wanted to bring you a light down to the bridge and meet you, but Gretchen said that you would get here without any trouble. Did you get lost? I could have brought a lantern down with no trouble at all." I shook hands with him and told him how easily I had found the place. The hack driver pointed out to me the house from the other side of the river, and I never once took my eyes from the light. If I had lost sight of the light, I'd probably be stumbling around somewhere now in the dark, down there getting ready to fall into the water. He laughed at me for being afraid of the river. "You wouldn't have minded it. The river's warm. Even in winter when there's ice and snow underfoot, the river's warm as a comfortable room. All of us here love it down there." "No, Richard, you wouldn't have fallen in," Gretchen said, laying her hand in mine. "I saw you the moment you got off the hack, and if you had gone a step further in the wrong direction, I was ready to run to you." All right, go ahead and press pause on the video to do your genre-based thinking jobs. Question 1. The following item has 2 parts. Answer part A and then answer part B. Part A. Which statement best describes how the author structured this excerpt from Warm River? A. The excerpt describes Richard's excitement as he crosses the bridge and then his eagerness to see Gretchen again. B. The excerpt describes Richard's confusion as he crosses the bridge and then his irritation when he hears Gretchen on the porch. C. The excerpt describes Richard's rising panic as he crosses the river and then his relief upon arriving at Gretchen's house. D. The excerpt describes Richard's admiration of the river as he crosses the bridge and then his interest in getting to know Gretchen's father. Part B. How does the structure of the excerpt help convey its meaning? M. The author's suspenseful descriptions in the beginning contrast with the feeling of comfort after Richard talks with Gretchen and her father. P. The author's frightening descriptions in the beginning contribute to the reader's suspicion of Gretchen and her family. R. The author's descriptions of the river in the beginning contrast with the respect shown for nature by Gretchen's father. S. The author's descriptions of Richard's enthusiasm in the beginning contribute to the reader's impression that he is in love with Gretchen. Number 2. How does the use of the word pendulum in paragraph 2 contribute to the overall meaning of the passage? A. A pendulum is part of an old-fashioned clock, which fits with the old-fashioned lamp in later paragraphs. B. A pendulum has a center point that does not move, like the relationship between Richard and Gretchen. C. A pendulum switches back and forth in two directions, like both the bridge and Richard's emotions. D. A pendulum represents power and energy, like the broad green river flowing near the house. Number 3. The following item has two parts. Answer part A, then answer part B. Part A. Which statement best expresses the theme of this excerpt from Warm River? M. It is natural to be suspicious of strangers. B. Nature is a powerful force and must be respected. R. Interacting with others can change a person's feelings. S. Falling in love can cause a person to feel excited and nervous. Part B. Which quotation from the excerpt best illustrates this theme? A. With dark mountains towering all around me and a broad green river flowing beneath me. Paragraph 3. B. I think it did, Gretchen, I said, but I hope I outran it. Paragraph 7. C. Gretchen's father was standing beside a table holding a lamp, a little to one side so that he could see my face. Paragraph 12. D. You wouldn't have fallen in, Gretchen said, laying her hand in mine. Paragraph 19. Number 4. How does the father interact with Richard? M. He points the way to the house and leads him there with a lamp. P. He welcomes him and reassures him that the river is safe and warm. R. He shakes his hand for the first time but does not completely trust him. S. He introduces him to his 3 daughters and invites him to stay for dinner. Number 5. Which statement best expresses the central idea of the excerpt from Warm River? A. Gretchen's welcoming nature helps Richard calm down after his scary bridge crossing. B. Richard's panic when crossing the bridge puts him in danger, but Gretchen saves him. C. Richard's discomfort with the river puts him at odds with Gretchen and her family. D. Gretchen's recollection of childhood memories puts Richard at ease after his difficult trip. Number 6. How does Richard's point of view contrast with the views of the other characters? M. The other characters are suspicious of Richard, who's afraid of visiting them. P. Richard feels uncomfortable in the house, but the others have lived there all their lives. R. Richard is excited about visiting Gretchen's family, while the others are less eager. S. Gretchen is confident that Richard will arrive safely, but Richard is nervous. 7. Which 2 sentences, when combined, provide the best summary of the passage? So you're selecting 2 sentences for this one, 2 options. A. Both characters, Richard and Gretchen, remember playing in barns as children. B. Richard fearfully crosses a footbridge on a dark night. C. Gretchen meets Richard and leads him into her home. D. The story takes place in a rural area a long time ago. E. Gretchen's father holds a lamp so he can see Richard's face. Okay, at this time, if you are finished with the first passage from the test, you can end this video and move on to the second video. Remember that you can rewind and go back to any part if you need something reread in this first excerpt. See you on part 2.